better than you in this particular field. And I think Andrea Lyon is one of those people. In Chicago, in the public defender's office, we had a murder task force. These lawyers do nothing but try murder and death penalty cases. Andrea was the outstanding lawyer in the murder task force. Andrea Lyon has won more death penalty cases than most lawyers you know have tried. How many is it now? That you ain't lost. Yeah. And it's like now when she shows up, people get to drop to you and shit. Then all of a sudden they don't want to make a death penalty case. And it would seem to me that that is the ultimate compliment, that when you show up, the prosecution somehow or other decides that this case that was before a death penalty case no longer merits being treated in that fashion. I would like to bring to you what Robert told them at today named the Diva of Death.
Before you even told us today's name, Mr. Oates, you took an oath.
Yes.
You raised your hand.
Yes.
You swore to God, to all of these people,
Yes.
to the people of this state,
Correct.
to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. In effect, Mr. Oates, you made us a promise. Right?
Yes.
You promised to tell us the truth,
Correct.
the whole truth,
Yes.
and nothing but the truth.
Right.
You have promised us that we can believe you. Right?
Right.
Let's talk about some other promises that you have made, Mr. Oates, in your life, that you have broken. Let's talk about the promise you made on August the 7th, 1985. Do you recall that day?
No.
Well, August the 7th, 1985, you pled guilty to a crime, right? To possessing heroin, right?
Yes.
Heroin is a drug, right?
Right.
An illegal drug,
Yes.
and you had it in your possession, and that's against the law,
Yes.
and you knew that,
Yes.
and you pled guilty to that,
Correct.
and the judge gave you probation. 2 years probation, right?
Right.
And you promised the judge that for 2 years you were going to abide by the rules of probation, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
You promised you wouldn't break any more laws, right?
Right.
You promised you would report into your probation officer, correct?
Yes,
You promised a judge of this state, you told him he could trust you for 2 years. Correct?
Yes, ma'am.
But you broke that promise, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Didn't take you 2 years either.
No, it did.
Didn't take you 1 year. Did it?
No.
Didn't even take half a year. Did it?
No, it did.
Because on October 22nd, 1985, you broke that promise when you possessed a gun, right?
Right.
Which is a crime, which you promised not to commit.
Yes.
And And you took that gun, right?
Yes.
In your hand,
Yes.
and you approached the victim, right?
Yes.
And you pointed that gun at him,
Yes, I did.
and you stole his money.
Yes, I did. Yes.
You broke your promise. Now, you went to prison for that, isn't that right?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
You got a sentence of 5 years,
Yes. Which I expected.
and then you were paroled, right?
Yes.
And before you're paroled, you make a promise to the parole officer, don't you?
Yes, I did.
And you promised the parole officer, an officer of the court as well, that you wouldn't break any laws.
I did.
That you would report in as you were supposed to.
Correct.
And you broke that. I need to listen.
Yes.
And you broke that promise when once again you picked up a gun
Yes.
which is against the law,
Correct.
doubly against the law because you are a convicted felon on parole. That had been explained to you quite clearly, had it not?
Yes, I had.
And you took that gun, right?
Yes.
And you went to the store, right? At 10:30 at night. And you robbed.
Yes, I did. It was wrong. And
You broke your promise.
yes, I'm very sorry about that.
Now, I'd like to talk to you about other reasons we should trust you or not trust you. All right? Who are you? Yes, who are you?
I just spoke.
Today. On August 18th, 1982, you were Frank Yates, right?
That was a lie.
You lied to the police.
Yes, I did.
And on the 7th of July, 1982, you said you were Franco's, and you lied to the police.
Yes, I did.
It was a lie, wasn't it?
Yes.
A lie you told.
Yes, ma'am.
You looked somebody right in the eyes, just like you did when you raised your hand today, and lied.
Ma'am, I'm not lying today. I lied.
You looked him right in the eye and lied to him, didn't you, Miss Rose?
Yes, I did that.
firearms, broken promises to judges,
Yes, I have.
broken promises to parole officers, broken promises to every single person in authority who's ever made one to. Except that. You know now that because you are on your fourth felony, you're a very serious trouble, right? Because if this prosecutor chooses, he can indict you for that fourth felony, right?
Right.
And the fourth felony, right?
Right.
Which carries a mandatory sentence of 20 years,
Yes.
no parole.
Yes.
How old are you?
There is not.
You'll be 55, right?
Yes.
But you know that the prosecutor can make a choice not to indict you as a fourth-time felon, right?
Yes, I know.
And you certainly hope he chooses not to, don't you? You prefer not to do 20 years in prison, that would be fair to say. You prefer not to do any time in prison, wouldn't that be fair to say?
That would be fair to say.
It would be fair to say that given the fact that this is your fourth felony, that you're looking at a mandatory 20 years in prison, that you need help. And it would be fair to say that, Mr. Overstep, generously, in order to get something, you have to give something.
Generally speaking,
You don't get something for nothing. Right? When you robbed that man this last time, he had a need for money, right? So you stole, you armed yourself, and you broke your promise, your word. Now, you do know what it means to strike a deal, do you not? You give something and you get something, right?
yes.
That's happened to you before, has it not?
Yes, exactly.
One of the other times that you pulled a gun and robbed somebody, you made a deal and the gun disappeared and the case became theft, right?
Yes.
And you pled guilty to theft as though the gun had never been there, right?
Yes.
And they got a plea of guilty and you got the gun to disappear, right? Let me call your attention to a date. You told, ladies and gentlemen, this jury, that my client confessed to you that he killed someone whose body has never been found, we don't even know is dead, that he did this on April the 13th, right? That's the day we talked.
Yes, that's the day we talked.
I'd like to talk about what happened that day before that. You know what I mean? April 12th. Okay? Talk about April 12th first. Now, on April 12th, you were in prison, in jail, right?
Yes.
For robbing someone with a gun,
Yes.
breaking your promise,
Yes.
and you were visited by your attorney. Not once, but twice. Okay? a federal courtroom, a totally different building than the one you were housed in and being prosecuted in. Isn't that right?
Right.
You aren't charged with a federal crime, are you?
No.
But the federal prosecutor came over and visited you twice, right? 2 visits from the federal prosecutor. Is that fair?
Yeah.
And one other person came over to see you that day. Wasn't your lawyer, right?
No.
Wasn't a federal prosecutor.
No.
Was your very own prosecutor, Mr. Wheeling, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had one visit from your prosecutor. And you talked with them, didn't you?
That's correct.
About your case, right?
About that and other things too.
Like they needed some help, right?
Well,
Maybe not in those words, but that got across, didn't it?
yes, sure.
Then, you had a conversation with my father, right?
Yeah. That was not,
Just a coincidence, of course, right?
yes, that was not the first time that we had talked.
Just a coincidence. Just happened to happen that you had a conversation on that day, the one you've been testifying about here today,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just a coincidence. Now, when you were speaking with the federal prosecutor and the state prosecutor, and you let them know that you had a need, they let you know they had a need too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Because they have no evidence at all that this man is even dead, right? Other than your word.
Correct.
Other than your promise.
Yeah.
Other than your oath to tell the truth,
Yeah.
the whole truth,